everyone, it's Amy, and today in my kitchen we're making 2 loaves of lemon zucchini bread. So what I love is that we're just going to mix everything together in one bowl. So to start, we're going to put 4 cups of flour into a bowl, and then 1.5 cups of sugar. I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. I've got 2 cups of that shredded zucchini going in. I've melted 2/3 cup of butter, or about 11 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Because I add kosher salt, I like to use unsalted butter, but you can use salted butter just fine. And now we're gonna zest 2 lemons into the bowl. If you've never zested a lemon, you're just using your zester, and you're going to take just the yellow part of the lemon off with the zester. And you don't want to take any of that white stuff because that's a little bitter and we don't want that. We want just that zesty lemon. Make sure you wash your lemons first before doing this because you don't know who's touched them at the grocery store. And we're going to save this lemon because we're going to juice it in a minute. All right, that looks great. So cut your lemon in half. You can use a citrus press, or I like to do it in here because it measures exactly how much we need, and it'll strain out those seeds as well. Some lemons are juicier than others. You'll need about 1/2 cup of juice, which is about 2 lemons, but give or take depending on the size of your lemon and how juicy they are. Okay, we have our lemon zest, our lemon juice, and now finally we're gonna add in 4 eggs. And like I said, you just mix that together in your mixing bowl. If you want to use an electric mixer, you can, but it's such a soft dough, you don't actually need your electric mixer for this. Just want to make sure it's all combined. If you're using frozen zucchini, you want to make sure you press out that extra liquid. And now I'm using very fresh zucchini, so it is a little bit drier. Which will result in a little bit of a dry batter. And so if you let this batter rest for about 10 to 20 minutes after we mix it, the juice from that zucchini is gonna pull out into the batter and it's gonna be perfect. Okay, I'm gonna let this batter rest for about 10-15 minutes and I'll be back. All right, I am back. We let that rest and I got my dishes done, so it was a win-win. All right, this makes 2 loaves of zucchini bread. So what we're gonna do is take our 9-inch loaf pans. I'm gonna spray the inside with a baking spray. And then I cut 2 strips of parchment paper that I'm gonna put into each pan. And these will help lift the bread right out of the loaf pans. Okay, we're gonna pour our batter into each loaf pan. Let me do that. This bowl is very heavy. Trying to make them evenly distributed here. That last little bit out of there, we don't want to waste any bread batter. Make sure you press it into the pan, spreading it pretty evenly in there so it bakes up real nice. All right, these are gonna go in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour, and I'll be back. Okay, our lemon bread is done. And I'm gonna put this aside for a quick minute while we make our glaze. So to make the lemon glaze, we're gonna take 1 cup of powdered sugar and we're gonna cut 1 lemon in half. Okay, so we got our lemon cut. We're gonna take our citrus press here, press that juice in. Now you can determine the thickness you want your icing. If you want it more like a frosting, then you'll use more powdered sugar. If you want it just like a nice thin icing on top, then you'll use less powdered sugar. This is the perfect consistency that I'm looking for. And let's take that bread out of the pan, put that icing over the top. Now these are still warm, so it'll spread pretty much all on its own here. Let's just get it poured over the top and then we can use the spatula to move it around as we want it. Beautiful. There you go, lemon bread. I think we should slice a piece. So moist, so delicious. Enjoy, you guys.